go ahead and check this. Now, when we are changing different inputs or outputs, it will tell us on what we're it'll tell us what we're doing. So you see facing side energy input. This means that any energy that comes in this side is going to go in. And the opposite side has no connection. If you want to change the opposite side, you hold shift and you right click. If you want to change the side you are looking at, don't hold shift and right click. So we want that to be the input. So we're going to put a connector there, and we're going to put a relay here, and we're going to put a connector here. Now, as you can tell from looking at this, that the kinetic dynamo is immediately giving it power. So these little copper bits here you see here, that is an output for it. So if you right click, go ahead and connect these two up, and now this is now gaining power. Now we're going to want to get the power out, so let's go ahead and get power here, get a connector here, and I don't think you want to really directly put that in. Nope, yeah, you can just do that. Okay, so now, as you can tell, the output is orange and is now outputting the power. So now we have a small little system that is just storing and gaining power. So now we want to find a alternative to creating power. So let's go ahead and create an alternative. And that is going to be the water wheel. So we're going to stick a dynamo here, and we're going to stick a water wheel. And a water wheel is in the best reference I can say is the create mod. You have a 3x3 block of a water wheel. A water wheel in Immersive Engineering, though, is 5x5-ish. You're gonna need a bit more space than that. And another difference between the two is that you need to get flowing water on as many sides as you can. Now, when you have a dynamo connected to one of these, you can, if I remember correctly, go up to a max of 3 water wheels before it fails. And we are going to go ahead and set this up. There we go. I had the blocks too close. Okay, there we go. So as you can saw from so as you can see, once you get water flowing as many sides as you can, it's gonna start turning, and the more it turns, the more power you gain. And you want to get as much flowing as you can in rotation around. If you saw from a second ago that it was turning slowly at first, that was because there was flowing water going this way, which is not the direction that was, well, good for this. So now we have water coming, well, not water, we have water wheels. So we're going to go ahead and connect this up to another relay. And we're going to put it on a shared network so that we have all of our power coming in. And now we have our beginning power generation. For later power generation, if you saw in my thing that I had another gizmo in here called a thermoelectric generator. This guy here is made with constantine and steel and copper coils. Constantine is an alloy of nickel and copper. Now, thermoelectric generators is your way of creating passive power from two different temperature blocks. What that means is if you put down, and actually, let me just show you, instead of me being a bit dumb, if you put down, let's just get something that we can easily get in survival. Ice, granted blue ice would be best, so let's just do blue ice real quick. If you get yourself some ice and you get yourself some lava, and lava is actually not the best. The best, I would say, is uranium blocks. And if you do those two, and let's go ahead and just slap it down over here. So we're gonna have ice here, and we'll do uranium. Lava works, but uranium's better. I'm just not gonna do lava right this second. And this here generates power on a passive scale, and it's much smaller, but no fuels required, like the other two, and it doesn't require as much infrastructure. It just requires you to have access to steel and Constantine. And this is already generating us some power. So now that all of this is now being generated and everything, now what we're going to do is we are going to figure out on how we can use our power. And one of the good ways of doing this is setting up a way so that hold on a second. Yeah, I might have to get a hammer. Is that you can stop using all your coal. So we can go ahead and get this facing this away. Oh wait, no, this is the power. There you go. Face it this way, and we're gonna go get ourselves a furnace. So what this thing does is it cooks, well, it heats the furnace up. Instead of using fuel, you use this instead. So before we actually connect this to this, we are going to use a, we're going to go ahead and look up how to make, well, where is it? This guy. Go ahead and get this. Did I show you guys how to make this? You probably gonna want to make this now that we're on the topic of this. Is an engineering multimeter. This is gonna let you read current. So go ahead and make yourself one of these, and then we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves one of these. So we're gonna go multimeter, and we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna grab one of these bad boys. Go with me. So let's slap this down here. Slap you to you, and you to you. Now, there we go. So this will show you power that's going through the whole system when you're looking at it when you don't have jade. This will show you like how much is inside the capacitors and all this jazz. And it'll also show you how much it is transferring. So as you can see, this is now energy stored. And if I put any what do we want to cook? I don't know. Let's cook some steak. Oh, we in order to cook steak we need beef. So let's do this number. Now if we do this number, and then we right click this, it'll tell us the average transfer over the last 20 ticks, which is 32. So you can tell that this is consuming 32 flux per tick. This is very useful for trying to figure out how much power is being transferred across. And now, we don't need to use coal anymore because we have power. Now another very useful use for this early on, and it will also use these things, which is why I'm now going to show you guys a recipe for this, by the way, because I didn't show you guys a recipe, is iron sheet metal and copper plates and LV wire. And iron sheet metal is just 4 iron plates, and it makes 4 of these. And I believe, yeah, you can actually dye them. Oh, make shoots. I'll show that later. Engineering block. There used to be a recipe, and I don't see the recipe anymore. But what you need the excellent heater for is also you're gonna need a pipe for this, is making a blast furnace preheater. Now what this is used for is, remember when I showed you guys last video when you made the advanced one. Now to make the pipes is that, by the way. But let's go ahead and show you guys. We're gonna go ahead and set up a blast furnace, an advanced one. And we're gonna keep that on us actually. We don't need you. We need that. We don't need that. We need you. We need a hopper. And actually, let me test if this works on a blast furnace. I don't know if you can set them up like this, by the way. But we're about to find out, I guess. Uh, I forgot that you can't do that. Just a little bit of testing. Hold on a second. Nope, does not look like it works on blast furnace, so it works on only furnaces. But hey, it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and set this up real quick. So you guys remember from last video, we make a 3 by 3 by 3 cube. Well, I can just say a 3 by 3 cube. And then put a hopper on top, like so. And then get this hooked up. Now, what we do is, you see these squares over here, we put these preheaters here. So just right click, right onto there. And if it's not facing the right way, just use a hammer to turn it around. There you go. So now you need to get power to this, and we get power through there. So real quick, let me get a connector. And now we're going to go ahead and get ourselves this bad boy here, and we are actually going to... I want to use another one of those to show you guys how much power this thing actually draws. So we're going to stick this sucker here. Just, it's not going to look fancy, but hey, it is what it is. You can go ahead and hook this up there, hook that up there, hook that up there, and hook that up there. So now what we're going to do is put all this up in here. We're going to get ourselves some coke, because coke is the best burning fuel for this. I say it's the best. It's not the only one you can use. You can use other burning fuels, but it's just the best one because it does the longest. So as you can see, that's on. So now that we're absorbing power to create these or make these work, we're gonna go ahead and figure out how much power it uses, and it uses about 65. Now, one of these don't one of these without sails don't really produce enough, and I don't think actually any of these on their own would produce enough to keep this full. But if since we have the full sail, the 3 water wheels, and a, well, tiny nuclear reactor, that's quite literally what this is. Yeah, this thing will run. And it's gonna make you plenty of steel and plenty of speed. So that's pretty much all I have to share with you guys on electricity today. I will be creating a video about item transportation and fluid transportation as soon as possible. And then we will continue on and then move on to machines, simple machines, and then we will do multi-block machines, and then we will get into some simple factories that can be used to help you along the way, such as a simple factory to help you create that alternative to terracotta, because that means less clay for you to use. There's actually quite a few alternative recipes in the factories you can make to replace things like leather and all kinds of stuff, because some of this stuff is actually quite costly. And thank you guys for joining me today. Ciao!